Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we are actually doing an Etsy shop critique. This is one of the many that I'll be doing throughout the course of 2020. So if you are interested in possibly winning a critique, make sure that you use the link below to sign up today. So if this is also your first time visiting my YouTube channel, guys, don't forget to subscribe today. I do upload weekly videos to help you build an impactful online business. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm doing a critique today on the store called Groovy Do It Yourself. Now, what I normally do on a critique is that I take a particular listing, I talk about product photography, I talk about on-page SEO factors, off-page SEO factors, the title, listing description, the curation of your shop, branding, and whatever else comes in mind while I'm looking at your store. So I'm going to break it down into sections so it could be easier to follow. And guys, if you have any questions or any suggestions for Anna, please leave them below because we can all help each other grow. So let's go ahead and get started. So thank you, Anna, for allowing me to do a critique of your shop. I really appreciate it. Today, I'm doing a critique on this particular listing here. So the first thing I want to talk about is product photography. You'll probably heard me say this throughout the other Etsy critiques and throughout my channel. Obviously, product photography is really important when you sell on an e-commerce platform. You want to make sure that when somebody looks at your product, they know exactly what they're buying. You want to make sure that they know, okay, these are coasters. You want them to, as soon as they see it, you don't want any confusion or for them not to know exactly what they're getting and keep browsing and go to your competitors instead of you. So for this particular photo, what I suggest is that whenever you take a photo of your products, make sure that the product that you're selling is in the actual photo entirely. You don't want to cut it off on the photo. Right here is getting cut off on the top and is getting cut off on the bottom. A lot of people don't read titles for some reason, or they're looking at the photo first glance before they read anything else. So therefore, if they don't really know what exactly this is, they're going to go like this. They're going to keep going. They're not going to really click on your actual listing. So you want to make sure that your product photography, your image, is cropped in a complimentary way that showcases your product. That way there's no confusion about what you're actually selling. So that's the first thing that I would suggest for you to fix, making sure that your product is fit in that picture properly. I think you did a good job of adding additional photos, including one that has the actual coffee on top of it. Because for a lot of people, they probably don't know this is an actual coaster that you did. It's pretty unique and very, very pretty. What I would do, definitely work on your images, making sure that all your images are optimized the same size. That's just for aesthetics. It's not like a deal breaker, but it's something that you should be used to doing all the time, is making sure that all your images are sized to the same size. And I will add additional images. If you have some sort of way that you wrap these palettes as a gift and you put them like in little gift boxes, take a picture of that. Sometimes people, especially now that we can't go nowhere and we quarantine, a lot of times people are buying gifts for someone else. And if they see that packaging or how you package it, they might be more willing to buy from you because they're like, oh, it comes in a cute package. Let me go ahead and get this for my loved one. So therefore, making sure that you show how you package your items is going to be really important for you. So make sure you do that. I will also add additional photos like with a call to action, like telling the customer what to do next. So a call to action is really important because it's going to help you increase your click-through rate. So ultimately, you want to tell the reader what to do next. So by telling the customer, click below to learn more about these coasters, or click below to learn more, or click below to read our listing description. That's a way to increase your click-through rate. And ultimately, you want the customer to engage with your product. The more that they engage with your product, the more that they browse your additional products, the more the likelihood that they'll go ahead and buy from you, because now they're engaging with your brand, they're engaging with your products, and they might feel a little bit more comfortable in closing out the sale. So I would definitely put additional photos. I personally always like to put the main photo as the one that you're actually using the product. So something like this, for in my opinion, works better as the main photo. So that way the person knows exactly what they're getting. You could just put another one here and have one in use and use that as a main photo. But I would definitely work on getting more photos, trying to fill this up as many as you can, adding call to actions. You could even add a call to action to grow your email list if you have not started yet. So having a text box that says, use this link, and then you put your link for your email to save 10% on your next purchase. So you could do something to those terms to grow your email list. It's really important to work on that when selling on Etsy. So adding that call to action is really going to help you. So those are my suggestions for your photos. Now, let's go ahead and talk about your title. So for the title, you did a really good job because it's short, sweet, and straight to the point. And ultimately, that's what Etsy wants, just for SEO compliance, but they also want to make it user-friendly for the customer. Now, if I'm assuming this is your main keyword. So let's see if you have it as a tag. Is your main keyword is handmade distress pallet coasters, handmade distress. So you don't have it. You have pallet coasters, but you don't have handmade distress. So keep in mind, if you're using this as a main keyword, that's fine. You have to break it down into 2 words, only because the main, your keywords could only be 20 characters or less. However, you're not optimizing your listing for SEO. And that's really, really important, because if you want to be found in the search results when people type in whatever keyword you're ranking for, you want to make sure that, one, your main keyword that you're using for this particular listing is in the beginning of the title. And you want to include that main keyword also in your meta description. The meta description is the first 155 characters of your listing. And the meta description is a snippet that's shown to people that search for your products on Google or any other large search engines. But you need to optimize your listing for SEO. That's going to give you a boost of SEO. It's going to drive more traffic to your store. It's going to rank your listings higher. At the current moment, I could just tell that you're not optimizing your title, and you're not optimizing your listing for SEO, and you're not putting this exact same keywords for relevancy. And that's really important for Etsy. You're not doing that either. You have here handmade distress pallet coasters. You don't have this as the main keyword. You do have this one here. And then down here, you have this keyword, I guess, which goes with that one maybe. But if this is your main keyword, because this is in the beginning of your sentence, you don't have it here. Plus, in addition, you don't have it as a tag. So what you want to do is whatever keyword you want to rank for, you want to put it in the beginning of your title. And then as well as you will put that same keyword in your first 155 characters. I would keep this short and simple. Your meta description is just something to entice the customer to click. So just include your main keyword, include a description of what you're selling, follow with a call to action. So maybe something like click to learn today, or click to learn more, or click to get yours today, something to those terms. And this is your meta description currently at the moment. This is what people see in the search results. And it says handmade and hand painted palette, color shown in picture, a distress gray with accent. It's not really enticing. It's not really something that somebody will read and want to click on. So you definitely want to work on your SEO. You want to work on including your main keyword in your title, and you want to make sure that you rewrite or write your meta description, because you don't have one at the current moment, of 155 characters or less. Let's look at your keywords really quick. I'm using eRank Pro. You could sign up for the eRank, and it's free. If you do the Pro, it's an additional cost, but it is worth it for your business, because These tools pull data directly from Etsy, so you're able to do keyword research and really see what's working, what doesn't work, what keywords you should be using. You could do competitive market research. You could do a lot of stuff with eRank, and it's very helpful. So just in case you're not using anything at the current moment, I do recommend eRank. So looking at your keywords, right? You want to make sure that when you use keywords, you do keyword research before you just pick keywords. And you want to do some brainstorming. You want to sit down with a piece of paper and look at your product and write 10 to 15 keywords that describes how your target audience will actually look for your products. So how would someone that wants to buy a coaster would look for the type of coaster that you sell? You want to write those keywords down. They could be words, phrases, or long tail keywords. Once you have those keywords, you want to see if there's an average search volume on Etsy and what is the competition like. And you would do the keyword explorer. You will go here. You will enter each keyword and you would do like a keyword research. Like you would say, okay, let me check out this one, wood coasters. That's something maybe you wrote. And then you start doing research. And the keywords that come up with at least a monthly search volume of 500 and more. With, I would say for competition, I always try to stick with 30,000 or less. If you come up with that, that's like the sweet spot. Those are keywords that you could potentially rank organically without running any Etsy ad. But if you were to run an Etsy ad, your cost per click wouldn't be so high because you're not using keywords that are too competitive, that like too many people are using. And you want to stick with keywords that your ideal target customer was research for. Keywords like gift for her or gift for mom is too broad. Handmade gifts, that's too broad. If you go to Etsy right now and you type in handmade gifts, you'll see that there's 1.8 million people using that keyword. So organically, you're not going to rank organically for this keyword. If you say, I'm not going to run ads anymore, you're going to be buried in the search results somewhere. So if you were to use this keyword, you will be solely responsible of driving traffic from social media or other platforms, because on Etsy, you're not going to get it. The competition is too high. In addition to that, if you were to run an Etsy ad, your cost per click is going to be ridiculous high. It's going to be very, very high due to the fact that you're using a keyword that's very, very competitive. So therefore, you're going to pay more for that keyword. So that's what you're kind of dealing with when you use keywords that are very competitive. So therefore, you want to make sure that you use keywords that are not as competitive so you can rank organically, and therefore also when you run ads, your cost per click doesn't go, skyrocket. This is why a lot of people spend like $4 a day in ads, but halfway through the day, they already spent the $4. It didn't spend throughout the whole day. And it gets spent really quickly is because they're using keywords that are so competitive that the cost per click is usually a lot higher than they anticipated. So these type of keywords are too broad. You're not really targeting your ideal customer. So I would definitely change those. This here, it does show that it's very low in average search volume, but keep in mind also that due to the pandemic that we're facing, it could be that many people might not be searching for these particular keywords. And that's why you see a skew in data, especially if you noticed before you were driving some sort of traffic with these particular keywords. So what I would do is try to use keywords that people are using now, that matches exactly what you're selling, or as much as you can. And then later on, once the pandemic goes away and we go back to some type of normalcy again, then go back and revisit your keywords and try to find keywords that are more suited to what you're selling. But you definitely want to change these because at the current moment, they're not getting you any traffic. These are too much competition, so you're not getting the traffic from these as well, nor these as well. So you definitely will need to change, if not all, if not a few, but all basically. These, all of these have zero data. And then these, because the competition is just ridiculous, it's too high. It's going to be really hard for you to compete. So definitely work on your SEO. You have to work on it. And once you work on your SEO and you have your new keywords, you want to optimize your listing. You currently don't even have it optimized for SEO. So you want to make sure, one, that you write an engaging description. When people read this, they're not really getting that much from you, and they're going to be like, they're going to leave your store. One thing I always tell people, when you write your listing description, make sure you include anything and everything the customer should know about what they're buying. Because a lot of times these people, it's their first time buying on Etsy. They don't really know how to navigate Etsy. So by you having all this information there, it's going to really help them make an informed decision of whether they want to go ahead and buy from you or whether they want to just not buy at the current moment. But you definitely want to add your personality to it. It definitely wants to be engaging. What are you resolving for this customer by them buying your product? Why should they buy from you? And then add the process of buying, when they order, when should they expect their order? How many days would they receive their order? You know, et cetera, et cetera. But just include everything and anything that they should know. But it's really important that you start doing that, because that's going to really help you with your store, not just for SEO purposes by adding the keywords, but also for engaging the customer. So you have to meet both criterias. You have to optimize your listing for SEO so you could get more traffic, but you also need to make it engaging and user friendly. So for the customer, when they are reading your listing description, they don't get bored, they stay in your shop and they buy from you. I will also add hyperlinks to your listing description that takes them to your homepage and takes them to other matching items on your store. That way, they stay in your store and they don't leave. The objective is, how long can you keep them in your store? The longer they stay in your store and shop around, the higher the probability that they'll go ahead and buy from you. So make sure that you work on that. Make sure that you take your time to craft a killer, what is called a killer listing description. You definitely need to work on that. Let me look at your categories real quick just to see. So you have it under decorative tiles. I don't think this is too much relevant, to be honest. I would just leave it under home decor if you don't find another match. You have to be careful with categories. Categories and attributes act like keywords. And what happens is, if you use the wrong attribute or the wrong categories, the more people see your product and the less people buy from you, it affects your conversion rate. And that shows Etsy like, oh, okay, a lot of people are seeing this product, but not really too many people are buying. So let's push this on the bottom, or let's make this the best seller. So you have to be careful with that. You have to make sure that you choose categories and attributes that are relevant to what you're selling. So therefore, it doesn't hinder your conversion rate in the long run. So definitely keep that in mind when you're creating listings or fixing the current ones. Now, one of your questions was you're having a hard time finding your target audience. And what I noticed, Anna, is that you have so many different variations of things that you sell. You have t-shirts, you have indoor planters, you have coasters, you have bracelets, you have hats, right? Knit hat patterns, beautiful. You have, in my opinion, too many people like in mind. Like, this is like different types of audiences you will have to target, and that's why it's so difficult for you. What I always recommend is better to sub niche or niche down first. Start very, very niche. Maybe you only sell shirts only, or maybe you only sell bracelets, whatever you prefer selling. You start with that first. Once you start creating more and getting more customers, the customers will eventually tell you, hey, I would prefer this. And then from there, you could create a robust line of additional products. I think one of the biggest mistakes many Etsy sellers make is that they feel like, I need to sell a lot of products in order to sell. But the more products you sell and the more everywhere you are, the harder it is for you to find your target audience. And that's why it's a little difficult right now. If I'll give you an example, my YouTube channel is for Etsy and small business owners. But if for whatever reason I start putting there videos of me working out, and then I put another video of what I had of the day, what I ate for the day, and then I added another video of my son playing with his toys, eventually my audience will be like, wait, I don't want to follow this person. She puts too much stuff that I'm not interested in. I'm not interested in seeing your son. I'm not interested in seeing what workout you did. I'm interested on Etsy, and you're not doing that no more. Essentially, you got to think about that in your store. I know you're trying to create a store that's for handmade gifts, but sometimes starting smaller is better. And then from there, you could kind of work yourself up and add additional products accordingly to what your audience is asking you for. Your audience will tell you, hey, I saw you have this shirt. Do you make this? And then from there, you could kind of survey your audience and ask them, what type of products would you prefer me to add to my store? You could start doing stuff like that. In order to do that, though, you do have to build an email list and some sort of social presence online. So you definitely have to work on that. I think you have too many variations of things, and that could be confusing for your audience as well as for you when you're trying to attain an ideal target customer. Another thing is branding, making sure that, making sure that all your photos have the same kind of style or aesthetic. If I saw this photo here, this one, and even this one in the search results, I honestly would think these are from 4 different stores. They're so different from each other, from colors to aesthetic, from the background, from the products itself. So making sure that all your photos have the same aesthetic will help you build a memorable brand that people will remember who you are. So definitely work on that as well. I think that for your reviews, you have 3. It's always going to be a little bit lower than your actual sales. You're doing great customer service. So from that perspective, there's nothing you have to change. What I would do is, 1, start an email list. You're not collecting email lists anywhere in this in your site. 2, I would do a shop announcement. Now Etsy moved the shop announcement up here. This is a great place for people to see your announcement right away. I will incorporate my email list there. Secondly, I will add a story about you. How did you get started on Etsy? Why should people buy from you? Tell your story. When you buy on Etsy, people want to know who they're buying from you. When you buy on Amazon, you don't say, oh, I got this from seller 123. No, you say, I got this from Amazon. Etsy's a little bit different. People are buying here and they know that they're buying something handmade and unique. So they definitely do want to learn who they're buying from. So I'll definitely recommend for you to add that in your actual store, your About Me story. And then great job for adding your Instagram account. So I'm going to go ahead and follow you there. But yeah, that's my recommendation for you. I think your biggest takeaways for your store is optimizing your store for SEOs. Right now, you don't have it optimized. 2, finding your target audience. 3, selecting 1 or 2 products that you're going to sell and keep it at that, and making sure that they're relevant to each other. And optimizing your photos as well, so they are all cohesive and have the same aesthetic in order to grow your brand, and so people start remembering who you are as a brand. But these are my tips for you today. I do appreciate you signing up for the critique, and I appreciate everyone for leaving comments, and thank you everyone for watching.